Okay, this is the May 13th meeting of the Auburn School Master Plan Building Team, and I guess we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? There are none. Any citizen comments? There are no citizen comments. We have minutes from the last meeting, which I believe is March 25th, if anyone would like to add anything or change anything. Otherwise, would entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Okay.
I wasn't here.
I'm sorry?
I can't vote. I was in,
Well, there you go.
wasn't here.
So you gotta show up, then you can vote.
You can go Skype us.
Okay, funding updates. I don't know if you saw the town meeting or not, but all four articles were approved. So we do have the $1.8 million to work with. And that money comes from money that was previously allocated to JB and Mary D. Stone over the last 4 years. And school committee had held the money pending what happened with West Street. Obviously, West Street is a go, and the money can now be used at Swanson Road. And then there is an additional $500,000 round numbers in this year's CIP that will be used, and a little bit of money, a couple $100,000 for next year. So we're good to go. I think we need to just watch that last $200,000. That won't be available until after next year's town meeting. So we can, it seems like it's a workable situation. Any questions on the funding? 6 o'clock.
That's the baseball.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the parking lot update. And if you remember at the previous meetings, I think back in February, we agreed to hire Graves Engineering. They came up with a plan that was pretty close to what we had been looking at. And looked at it. They made a few tweaks. We met with the DPW early in the process, and they wanted to see it on Graves's drawings before they really made too many comments. So we had Graves do his initial drawings, the one that you see here. Excuse me. And basically how the whole thing works is, just to go over it again, the buses would come in as they come in now, and they would be able to line up in front of the school. They should be able to queue 8 buses there, and then the 2 minis will probably get down in the bottom area. And they will unload onto the sidewalk and then onto that where you see where it says concrete walk between the parking lot and the bus drop-off area. And then at the same time, the parents should be able to come in and queue through the parking lot if you follow the arrows in, and drop the kids off onto the same, excuse me, the same sidewalk, and then go right back out the other way. So it seems like it works. The DPW director and the town engineer, assistant town engineer, came up and asked us to consider a second alternative, which we looked at, and we asked the bus operator and the principals of the school and Mary Ellen what they thought of it. And that second drawing that you see makes it a lot easier to plow because it's all one straight shot coming through. But the buses would have to queue up side by side, and I don't think anyone in the administration or the school wanted any part of that. So it just wasn't, you know, as I say, it's easier to plow, but it wasn't from an operational standpoint. Didn't seem like it was
Yeah, the kids would be running between the buses.
Yeah, it just didn't, I mean, it wasn't
Can't do
something that
that, no.
was considered, but it wasn't, you know, it just didn't,
Special middle school kids.
yeah. So it did have more parking, I would give them that, but there was no way to do it with the buses without having the kids running in between it. It wasn't gonna work. So anyway, at that point, we asked Graves to meet with the DCG, which is the Design Coordinating Group. They made some comments and changes, and Joe, I think you were there, I don't know if you can.
Yeah,
maybe
they
go
made
ahead.
some minor changes to really benefit the snow removal. They talked about putting a wooden guardrail instead of a fence that we had running parallel to the sidewalk. We all felt that was a wise idea. They also recommended, or we talked about putting a gate at the lower parking lot next to the building. So we thought that was a good suggestion as well. Other than that, they were pretty much in favor of it.
We did put a sidewalk going down on the slope.
Correct, going
Right.
down.
Yep.
Why'd they want to gate that lowest parking lot?
Because coming out of the cafeteria,
Yeah.
the kids will be going out to recess.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, that's
we
right, they
felt by
go,
putting
they
a
do
gate there,
recess, yeah.
It would actually prevent anybody from coming down there throughout the school day.
Yeah, that's,
Yep.
Are they thinking part of this is for staff parking and the other part would be for visitors, or they're not gonna mark it?
Not
or-
down below, no. Down below will be left open. So the reason why we have it is because it is the fire lane, and it's also gonna be dropping off deliveries early in the morning before school.
That would be good if that was posted, so they couldn't come in right at.
Correct, and there will be,
When
like
school
I said,
starts.
there will be a gate that will be going across there, that most likely the custodian will be closing every day.
On this, I can't quite understand, where would parents come that are dropping off their children?
If you look in the upper right-hand corner, see where the arrow coming in is?
Up here?
You can
Oh,
come
go
in.
this way?
Yep. And then follow that right down. It will take a sharp right and another sharp right, and now it's into the parking lot. And then as it turns, that is a raised concrete island. They'll drop the kids off on that island
Okay.
and then work their way right back out and then go back out the same way they came in. Just, if you follow the arrows right off of Swanson Road.
Bring it up in there. This will take everybody off of Swanson Road.
This is,
Now, you have to bear in mind that when they're doing this,
This is how the existing one is now.
you have to bear in mind, when they're doing this, all these parking spaces are full. So it looks wide open now, but it's not. There will be they'll be driving down an aisle. But the lots will be full, but those are that's teacher parking, so they'll be inside the building.
so that's what I'm asking, where would the staff be parking, in the
in that parking lot.
first lot or the second lot?
In the second, in the lower lot. The newer lot.
This one? Okay. And are the parents with their children gonna drive through that lot?
Yes.
Okay, so
If you-
those
if-
cars aren't moving then?
No,
Okay.
and they'll drop off onto right onto that concrete island. So once the kids are on the raised island,
Oh, okay.
they're almost on a chute right into the doors.
Could we grease it?
Lots right here. This is
Huh?
on the
Could we
sidewalk.
grease it?
Grease it?
Okay.
So what the kids will do is they'll walk across.
Through you, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
do we have a snow storage area?
You know, the DPW is gonna figure that out after the first storm, no doubt. But
Yeah.
the intent would be to take, in the lot nearest Swanson Road, to take it and push it east,
Yep,
to drop it in front right near the flagpole. Okay?
so yeah, okay.
And
All
then
right,
the intent on the back lot would be to push it right to the back field.
all right.
Through the fence.
Well, it isn't actually a fence, it's a wood guardrail, which they can kind of push right over. Not the guardrail, but push the snow over the
Yeah, but is
guardrail.
that gonna stay? All that snow, the weight?
Yeah, that actually came up in the DCG meeting, and they felt pretty comfortable that by having that wooden guardrail, that they'd be able to push the snow up and over it. And in the front of it, where you're referring to, where the flagpole is, they're talking about a Cape Cod berm, so they're just gonna push it right over it.
Yeah,
So they do have identified spots That was a real big concern in the meeting that we did go to, and they felt pretty comfortable that they would be able to find the spots here to make it work.
Now, then when the parents drop their kids off, Rick, are they gonna be walking between the buses?
No, the bus.
No, the buses are,
Okay, the buses are gonna unload down there?
Except for that one little hatched area
And the kid, the walk.
across the driveway going to the lower lot,
Yeah.
the kids are always on a raised area, whether it's the sidewalk in front or the raised area in between.
Now, does this indicate they're taking land from where the flagpole is?
We're pushing that lot towards the flagpole a little bit, yeah. A little bit, there's an entrance there
There's an
currently.
entrance that'll be gone.
That will be gone,
Yeah.
that's right,
Yeah.
that's
But the
right.
land itself with the trees, it would still be there? The reason I'm asking is some of those, all the trees there, I believe, were planted in memory of people. And I'm just thinking if they need to be, if they're in the way, maybe they could be moved.
Well, if you look closely on it, you can see a dotted line. See where the handicap parking spaces are?
Yes.
And there's a dotted line that kind of curves
Yep.
through it. That's the existing grassed area now.
Okay,
So I'm betting the trees are
Doesn't
back
take
further
much.
than that.
I believe the tree you're referring to is up front.
there were two that
Closer.
were planted.
Right.
Remember. There was one, I believe, in this corner and one maybe down here.
I think you-
We can make note of that, though, and
Yeah.
figure out some way. They're not big trees.
No, they're flowering trees.
Yeah,
But they were
Yep.
handpicked and paid for to
Yep.
remember
yep.
teachers that had passed.
So if we had to relocate them, we could,
Relocate
Yeah.
it to the
Yeah.
other side of the flagpole.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We can figure that out. Any other questions on the layout?
How many handicap parking spaces?
It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4, Mark.
How many regular spots?
I believe 120, Joe, 127?
Correct. And you also have the handicap spot in front of the building as well, where the buses will be, for the buses, for the minibus.
So you have 5?
It would be a drop-off spot.
you get 5.
Looks like 5 handicapped for cars.
Okay.
This-
5 plus 1?
This is an early rendition of the drawing, though, too. I think, if I remember correctly, we added 2 on the back of the new lot
Okay, good.
Yes.
for the playground.
For the playground.
For the
correct.
playground, so this, I think there would be 6.
Yeah, and they're not shown in this drawing.
Right.
And have
Thank
you,
you.
do you deal with a car to be in?
I believe it was, one was a van, one was a car, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you should have both either way.
And then you have the van and 1, 2, 3, 4 cars out front.
But I mean, I think the spot should be available for either way, each spot,
Okay.
van
So,
or a car.
yes. So, as a result of meeting with the DCG, they've made the changes on it and have not filed yet. They haven't completed their drawings yet, but they've, we expect to be on the planning board meeting for June 10th. Really don't expect that it's gonna go 2 meetings, but you never know until you actually get there, so. At the same time, they are working, Graves is working on the drawings and the documents to put it out to bid, and Joe has already put it in the central register, and I think we have a bid date of, Joe?
The bid date is due June 6th.
Yep. So, it should run concurrently. If there's something in the planning board review that we have to change from the drawings, we can do it either by addendum or we can negotiate it with the low bidder, so. So by early next month, we should know on the site work what it's gonna cost, and we've got a pretty good shot of getting it done this year. I don't see any reason we shouldn't be able to get it done, so.
Would that be done this summer?
That's what I
Yeah.
was just gonna ask.
It's really kind of critical because it's going to take, there's not going to be a lot of access to the school here. And next year, there's going to be a lot of movement, equipment movement, renovations in there. So, yeah, the intent is to, if at all possible, get it done this summer. And it seems that's certainly the goal,
Okay.
so.
What are we looking for opening, this 15?
Yeah, September 15th. Any other questions on the site?
I have one more, it's not exactly on the site, but someone pointed out to me that the Auburn Middle School is the only school that doesn't have school postings, like school zones slow down. I don't know if it's because of the highway or, but especially where we're attracting, bringing in younger children, that might be important. I don't know how that happens or whatever, but I guess it's the only school in town. I mean, even the high school has school zone signs.
I wonder if they could put some of those flashing lights in, like they have right at the other grammar schools.
Well, through the chair, we have it up at Bryn Mawr. There's one light there that we sync the same time for the elementary at Bryn Mawr as well as the middle school. And I don't know, I can't speak for the Mass Highway, I have no idea, but I believe there's not one on the other end because that's right where the set of lights are.
Yeah,
So there is one up at Bryn Mawr that we have it set off to flash, I believe like at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it runs through 8:30.
yeah,
And the same thing in the afternoon for that after-school
okay.
period.
Because that would, I think that's important, especially with younger children coming in.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Joe, can we just put up signs?
School zone.
You know, at the lower end of the ball field at Bryn Mawr? Not flashing signs, just put up school zone signs there and at the corner of Swanson and Vine?
Sure, I don't see why.
That would be the, the reasonable and most economic way to do it.
Sure,
We can ask the DPW.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I think a flashing light would be expensive.
sure, but just something to indicate.
Sure.
Outsiders coming through to pick up 290 that,
Yeah.
They might feel that they already went by Bryn Mawr and that they're safe.
yeah.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yep.
So,
Sure.
Sure, another sign with a field would be.
Any other questions, comments on the site?
No,
There is,
good.
the other part that you don't see here, there is a big detention system under that front lot that will take all the water from everywhere and put it into there and let it seep down into the ground slowly.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
Oh, if I could add one more thing?
Sure.
There was always a collection of water right at where you've got the entrance for the cars coming in, and that froze over every single winter. It was really dangerous. So that should be made sure that that's graded or whatever they need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that entrance right there, that was horrible. Cars would slip, get stuck. I saw parents getting stuck if their tires weren't that good, I
On the
guess.
Bryn Mawr end?
On the Bryn Mawr end, yeah.
That's probably more a function of the water not
Right,
getting to the catch basin that's further down.
yeah.
Well, it goes into the pothole that's right there.
Well, we had, yeah, I don't know, but I used to see, we couldn't get in because the parents couldn't get in, and they were stuck on the ice, and it would be good if they're regrading to make sure
Yep.
that's,
Yep, we'll mention that to Graves. Okay. Next item, the updates on the ground floor, and at the last meeting, we agreed to just hire a draftsman, and Joe Fahey, Joe Miller, and myself have been able to give him some ideas, and met with him, and tried to come up with some ideas how to make this whole thing work. We've already seen the kitchen layout, but I think at the last meeting, we were at the point that we had to figure out a way to get the restrooms in here. And the actual restrooms that we need to get for 200 kids are 4 toilets for the girls, 1 being handicapped, and then 2 toilets for the boys, 1 being handicapped, and 2 urinals, and then 2 sinks in each. So those take up about an area, each one about 12 by 14 feet to get that in. So the initial intent, the thought, was to take some of the kitchen area. And so we put that on the drawing that you're looking at now. And it just didn't work for the school administration, for the function. They didn't want the kids going all the way down the corridors or going really out of sight of the dining room. So the new drawing that you see, the separate drawing, I don't think it was part of it, but we looked at putting the 2 restrooms in the cafeteria area, and I believe that works for the principals.
Yes.
It does.
The major concern was the students being unsupervised, going all the way down the building.
Yep.
We were hoping that, it's a great distance from actually the cafeteria. And I think if I'm not mistaken, there wasn't enough room in order to have enough bathrooms to use the area that's already indicated men and women. And even with that, the women's entrance was around a blind corner as well. So it really wasn't conducive for at least the intermediate students.
Yep. We could have refigured those two rooms probably to make them work. It would have been very expensive to make it work, and it doesn't solve our whole problem anyway, because we needed more than that. So he laid it out in the kitchen area, and then he laid out where the dining tables are. And 7 rows of 3 at 21 tables, 10 at each table is 210 kids, so that's plenty for each sitting. So it seems to us that it
Yeah,
works.
yeah. Plus you gain the advantage of a janitor's closet and a bubbler at the other end of the
Yep.
cafeteria.
Yep. Yep.
Do we have plumbing under there?
Yeah,
at this
that's,
point?
well, the other part about that, I haven't got the drawing with me, but there are sanitary lines, 2 of them, one running almost under each room. And the vents and all that are directly above, because as you come in the main entrance, there's 2 restrooms directly above. So
Luck is everything.
Yeah,
From
so
the
it
office,
really, I mean,
That-
we kind of fell into it, actually. So that part of it works for the student restrooms. Then if you look back at that first drawing, using the old girls' locker room, we're able to put seating for 20 in there, and probably more if we wanted to, and then get a men's room and a ladies' room in there. So that seems like it works, and I think that's okay with the principals.
It's also like a kitchenette, you know.
Yeah, and a little kitchenette in the front, that's correct. Maybe a little, like a 6-foot counter and some wall cabinets or something like that, so.
It'd be for all staff, right?
I'm sorry, for the
That
staff.
needs to be staff.
That's correct. That's correct. So that really gets us back to, we figured out a way to do it. Now we just need to get the kitchen layout and the kitchen equipment, I don't want to say under control, but we need to get it within budget. So we've asked the kitchen equipment director to kind of sit tight until we get this restroom issue squared away, which we think we do have now. And so in the next month or so, I think maybe at the next meeting, we can really try to pin down this kitchen equipment cost.
Through the chair, can I just ask a quick question
Sure.
regarding the bathrooms? Will you keep or maintain the existing bathroom? There was a men's room already there.
The 2 in the
And then,
middle, we will leave,
Okay.
the ones that we were just talking about. And there's also one over in that utility closet. I don't think we're doing anything with that, are we, Joe? That area?
Not now that we freed up the space in the front, so we'll leave that
Right,
alone.
we would leave that alone. And that's actually the custodian,
Correct.
and he's gonna move across the hall into a room in the boys' locker room.
Now, what are we gonna do with these 2? These 2 are.
Those 2 go away, that was the
they're
first
gonna-
retention.
They're gonna go away, so
yeah.
we're moving, that's part of the kitchen expansion.
Exactly. So the kitchen now becomes the old kitchen area and the entire wood shop area.
Okay, all right, there we go.
But, whether it's actually kitchen or it's storage or
For
something.
storage
that
or
they
the
can-
or the freezers or whatever.
Yeah, well, the freezers will definitely
Come
go
inside.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kitchen equipment cost, I think we had budgeted 150, not really knowing what it would be. Her initial rendition came in at somewhere around 185, I think, and that's up a little higher than that now. So I think in the next month or so, we can start looking at that. Wasn't a whole lot of sense to do it until we knew what kind of room she was gonna have, so.
Yeah.
And that's using Joe's equipment that he's put in the other buildings, the new stuff?
It's, yeah, it's probably half new and 25% from this room and 25% relocated. But, we don't really have to make commitments on dollar amounts right now, but we certainly can get it down. I know some of you guys have had concerns about the cost, so we, you know, maybe at some point in the next week or two, we want to sit down with Janice and go over it, you know. So,
Mr. Chairman, do you want committee to kind of approve some of this stuff generically, subject to fine tuning?
yeah, I think that we're far enough along that we can say this is what it's gonna be, so.
Well, I'd like to make the motion that we initially approve the bathroom layouts in the cafeteria, subject to finalization, tweaking, et
Second.
cetera, et cetera. And also the reworking of the teacher's lounge.
Well, once you do it one at a time.
Why?
You can do it two if you want.
Hmm?
You can,
Do
You can
two.
do them all
I mean,
together,
we can-
sure,
yeah.
do them all together. The ground floor layout. we'll call
Ground
it.
floor layout as
All right.
presented, subject to tweaking.
There
We
you go,
can multitask.
there you go. So that would be the restrooms in the dining area
The dining,
and the
cafeteria, and the
teacher
teacher's
dining
lounge
layout.
with the
Right.
men's and ladies and
At
cafeteria.
one point, Rick, we had a dining area for the kitchen staff too, didn't we?
There is a whole room back in
Yeah.
this thing that may become that,
Okay.
or may stay that. And we're thinking that the staff can certainly use these two restrooms too.
Yeah.
There's a ton of room down here. I mean, there's a lot of room, so. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Do we
No?
need anything on the site? Or has that been,
The site's already drawn up. I mean, you certainly could if you want.
It's already-
It's what we had
right,
presented and voted on a couple of meetings ago, so.
shut up.
The general office area, we don't have a drawing here, but Joe has met with them and walked through, and maybe if you can just go over it
Sure.
briefly, Joe?
We took the concerns that came out of this committee along with the concerns from the principals that we had about, basically what we're doing is we're expanding the nurses station, which I believe was a big concern. We're moving the vestibule back probably 15 feet to give us more of a center meeting area. We're removing one of the center walls in the main office
Oh, good.
to bring that back to the original design, along with taking down the room in back where the nurses station is in the storage closet. I'm speaking like everybody knows where these storage closets and nurses stations are. But, and then we're also increasing the size of the student's bathroom right there to make it handicap accessible. So as Rick stated, we're in the planning phase of that right now, and probably by next meeting, he's gonna have a
Yeah,
good-sized drawing.
yep. And at that, we'll be looking to finalize that towards the end of the summer, so that drawing, we can kind of do the same thing we just did with the ground floor and go over that. And then at the same time, in the front, that vestibule gets opened up, and the two restrooms stay pretty much as they are, except they get made accessible, so.
So what are you coming to the planning board with next month?
We're coming to the planning
Just the
board
parking?
with,
Site.
just the parking,
Okay.
yeah, just the parking, so.
now would you have to go back to the rest of the building?
No,
Site
we'll need to talk with the building inspector for the interior, that's not really the planning board,
We only do site plan.
yeah, so. You guys need your plans a week before the meeting,
Yes.
and he couldn't do it for this meeting, so, and you only meet once.
Usually we do it the Thursday before. If they come in, if we get them Thursday before, but they have to go through
Yep,
upstairs and everything
Yeah.
else, so probably a good week anyway.
yeah, it wasn't gonna work, so. And you're only meeting once this month, so.
You
June
don't
10th.
foresee any problem with the planning board, do you?
I hope you give a yes on that.
Not on this. It might have been before, but not on this.
So that's the parking lot update, the ground floor update, the general office update. We had thrown out last month if, at some point, maybe a year from now, we're gonna need to be thinking about turning over 2 buildings, or the school committee will be thinking about turning over 2 buildings. So we throw out the idea if a group wanted to form a subcommittee and contact other towns and see how they've done it, what they did wrong, what they did good, what they did bad. I don't know, maybe it's maybe we want to do it, maybe we don't. So I throw it out for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask the superintendent, has the school committee or administration developed any thoughts along that line? Once you give something up, that's it.
Right, so the school committee will be waiting until we're a lot further on with the middle school project, because there's a domino effect here. We need to make sure that the middle school, and it will be built on time and on budget, and then that 10 Swanson Road
Under
is
budget.
ready before then we transfer the Mary D students to Packagug. So I would anticipate that they would not be considering a formal vote on that for probably close to a year from now, so we know all of those things set in stone.
So
But
are you hinting that it might be a little premature?
I think it's a bit premature, well, in terms of them making a formal decision. I actually think it would be a wise idea to do some discussions with other school districts and learn from them how they're doing it. Mr. Wingard had actually given me some information from the MSBA website regarding decommissioning or potentially turning back to the town building. So I reviewed that last night. I actually have a call into Katie DeCristofaro because we'll need to, as I understand it, that was from 2007, notify them at least 6 months in advance.
Right.
So I'll be bringing that to the school committee in an upcoming meeting to make them aware of it. But I'm checking with her first. Did those regulations actually get adopted? Because they're 7 years old at this point. So MSBA has not participated in any recent, and by that I mean at least 25 years, work for either JB or Mary D, so there won't be any financial implications, but you still need to let them know, because for future decisions in terms of reconfigurations, MSBA has to know that for future decisions.
It was hard to tell from that draft if he was saying this is the way it is, or he was saying this is the way we think it's gonna be.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I have a call
Yeah,
into her
yeah,
to see,
yeah.
was this ever adopted?
Yeah.
So I take it you're suggesting that probably sit tight for a while.
I'd sit tight for right now, but I think that, in the fall, for us to get together a subcommittee, because I think we can always learn from other districts and what they did well and what they would redo, and, had they had the opportunity.
Yeah, we should probably look at the town administration and the school administration.
Yep.
And move them into someplace like Mary D's in excellent condition because of Joe and because of you. And the town hall is what we call an armpit in the ed business. And so we should have a permanent building committee.
Yeah, but that isn't something that this committee should be.
But we should be talking to them anyway.
Once we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's fine, maybe it's something we'll do in the fall then, and works for me. Any other comments on that? No? Any new business, anyone want to bring up anything, or? Next meeting date, you don't know when the SBC is gonna meet, do you?
I don't know.
It would help,
Tonight?
it would help us if we didn't meet on the 10th,
Okay.
because that will be the planning board meeting. So,
To be determined?
well, maybe the, what's the next Tuesday after the 10th? 17th?
That must be the 17th.
That would work, huh?
What day is your time?
14, May, June 10th, that's a Tuesday.
So about the 17th.
17th would work fine. Is that okay with?
6/17?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
And that could also be the date for the school building. So
SBC, sure.
I'm going to put down here 17th, June 17th.
Anything else anyone wants to bring up? We did sort of redo the budget, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense until we see the site number at this point. But we did kind of, I think you had mentioned to put some money into those handrails, so we kind of moved a little bit of money around that, so we can look at that as a part of it too, so. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All those in
Second.
favor? Good.